Ever found yourself saying sorry for something you didn't even do? You're not overreacting. You're not too sensitive. You were trained to doubt yourself, and that's exactly what they wanted. They lied. They manipulated. They blamed you for their mess. And then they stood there, watching you apologize, while they played the victim. It's your fault. That phrase, it wasn't just a sentence. It was their weapon. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most confusing, painful, and psychologically damaging patterns in toxic relationships. Why narcissistic people always blame you. If you've ever walked away from an argument more confused than when you started, if you've ever felt like you were the one going crazy, if every conflict ends with you saying, "Maybe I am the problem," then this video is for you. You're about to learn why narcissists weaponize blame, how gaslighting twists your memory, the three-stage manipulation cycle, and most importantly, how to break free, not just from them, but from the self-doubt they planted in you. And trust me, this isn't just psychology. This is war. And it's time you stop losing battles you never started. Because the truth is, they were never fighting with you. They were fighting to control you. The narcissist's blame game. 3 psychological tactics they use. Blame for a narcissist isn't just about avoiding responsibility. It's about maintaining control. It's the thread that holds together the illusion they've built, that they're the victim, the hero, the one who's always right. When you start noticing the cracks in that illusion, when you start asking questions, challenging patterns, or expressing your own pain, the blame begins, subtly at first. A sigh, a comment like, "You're overthinking again," or "You're too emotional." At first, you might doubt yourself. Maybe you are being dramatic. Maybe you misunderstood. But over time, that self-doubt turns into self-blame. And that's exactly where they want you. Narcissists are masters of deflection. If they feel guilty, they make you feel ashamed. If they feel insecure, they project it onto you. If they make a mistake, they twist the story until you're the one apologizing. It's not just manipulation, it's strategic self-preservation. Because to a narcissist, being wrong feels like annihilation. They can't take accountability, not because they don't understand what they did, but because accepting blame would shatter the inflated image they've worked so hard to protect. And you become the convenient scapegoat for their emotional mess. You could walk into the room with proof, screenshots, evidence, clear facts, and they'd still twist the story. They'd question your motives, your memory, your sanity. Why were you checking my phone in the first place? You're always so paranoid. That's not what I said. You're twisting my words. And suddenly, you're not talking about what they did. You're defending yourself. Again, exhausted, confused, distracted. That's the trap. They win the argument not by being right, but by shifting the goalpost until you forget what you were even fighting for. They know exactly what they're doing, maybe not in a textbook, logical way, but emotionally, they've rehearsed this script their whole life. They grew up learning that love was control, that apologies were weaknesses, that being vulnerable was dangerous. So, instead of growing, they control. Instead of apologizing, they blame. And instead of connecting, they dominate. And if you stay too long in their world, you begin to internalize their chaos as your own character flaw. That's why it feels so confusing. You love them. Or you did. You saw their good moments. You remember the charm, the promises, the deep conversations. And when they hurt you, a part of you still thinks, maybe I triggered it. That's not love. That's conditioning. You've been taught to doubt yourself every time they fail to love you right. And that's the cruelest part. They didn't just break your heart. They made you believe it was your fault. Gaslighting is not about lies. It's about disorientation. It's when the narcissist slowly rewrites your reality until you begin to mistrust your own thoughts, your own memory, even your own emotions. They'll say, "I never said that," when you know they did. Or they'll insist, "You're too sensitive," after they just crossed a clear line. Over time, it erodes your sense of truth. You begin questioning your instincts. You begin wondering, am I overreacting? Am I imagining things? And once that seed of doubt is planted, they water it with guilt. Guilt is their favorite leash. It keeps you from leaving. It keeps you quiet. It keeps you apologizing, even when they're the one who just tore you down. When you try to walk away, they bring up everything they did for you. When you cry, they say you're manipulating them. When you call them out, they accuse you of attacking. So you start shrinking. You stop speaking. You keep the peace. You give them another chance, and another, and another. That cycle, idealization, devaluation, guilt, becomes a loop, a trauma bond. It's addictive, because in between the abuse they give you just enough warmth, just enough hope to keep you chasing the person they pretended to be. That person, the one who loved you, understood you, made you feel special, was a mask, a hook, and every time you try to leave, they dangle that mask again, making you think they've changed. They haven't. They've just reset the game. You start blaming yourself for the anger, the arguments, the distance. You tell yourself, maybe if I didn't push so hard, they wouldn't pull away. You start managing their moods, predicting their reactions, editing your words so carefully just to avoid the next explosion. That's not a relationship. That's survival. You're walking on eggshells in a house that was supposed to be a home. And the worst part? You probably haven't told anyone, because narcissists are brilliant at controlling the narrative. To the outside world, they're charming, funny, helpful, maybe even admired. And behind closed doors, you feel like the crazy one. That isolation isn't an accident. It's intentional, because if you ever told the truth, if someone really saw behind the curtain, they know their mask would crumble. So they make you doubt the only person who can expose them, you. You don't heal from a narcissist by waiting for closure. You don't get peace by trying to make them understand your pain, because the truth is, they already know, and if they cared, they would have stopped the first time you cried. They would have apologized when you broke down. They would have protected you, not punished you. Healing begins when you stop waiting for them to give you back the person they took from you, yourself. The first step is emotional detachment, not just physical distance. You have to unhook the version of yourself that was addicted to fixing them. You were not created to be someone's emotional punching bag. You were not built to carry their wounds while ignoring your own. Their pain is not your project. You are not their therapist, their mother, or their savior. Let that responsibility go. Start by writing down everything they made you feel: confused, silenced, blamed, exhausted. Then write the truth. You didn't cause that chaos. You simply stood in the way of someone who refused to grow. They blame you because it's easier than changing. They hurt you and made you apologize because they needed control more than connection. Don't wait for them to validate your side of the story. Stand in your truth, even if no one claps. Block them if you must. Mute the conversations. Burn the bridge if it protects your peace. Narcissists don't change because you love them harder. They change, if ever, because they lose access to people who won't tolerate their patterns anymore. If you're still stuck in the cycle, know this: you're not weak, you're human. You were trauma bonded, not stupid. You were loyal, not blind. You believed in their potential. And that says something beautiful about you. But now, it's time to believe in yours. You can outgrow this. You can rebuild. You can love again. This time, without begging to be seen. You are not broken. You were just lied to by someone who never wanted you to know your worth. They blame you because they're afraid of what happens when you stop blaming yourself. Because when you do, you become powerful, unshakable, free. If this spoke to you, if you saw yourself in this story, don't just scroll away. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Or, better yet, comment below and tell me, what did they blame you for? And how are you taking your power back? Because every time one of us wakes up, the cycle breaks. And that's how we win.